everybody, and welcome back to another video. My name is Becca and we are just at the park having a little picnic this afternoon. It's a beautiful day. It's so crazy because today actually marks our 1-year anniversary of moving to New Zealand, and that just blows my mind. I just wanted to share some life lessons and some of the things that we've learned and just some of our experiences of moving countries and what it's been like for us. So those that don't know our story, Billy, my husband, actually got a job with the Auckland Philharmonia Orchestra, and it took a very long time. It was a long, hard process, but we eventually made it to New Zealand. I'm terribly sorry about all the construction noise. There's not much I can do about that, but we eventually made it over to New Zealand and we have loved it so far. Moving countries is never easy, but moving countries with a baby in the middle of a pandemic, like, brutally hard. But we did it anyways because we knew that it would be worth it, and it totally was. Our first experience in New Zealand was actually MIQ, and just to show how much time has passed since then, they're actually starting to phase MIQ out, and they have a date of when it's going to be all gone for international borders, and it's just really exciting because my family can come and visit us now and they can see our life here and what it's like. So really looking forward to that. But when we first got to MIQ, we were gifted a bag of feijoas. It's so windy. We were gifted a bag of feijoas, and it's just wild because you can see the feijoas growing on the trees now, and it just shows the full cycle of our journey here, kind of. Not the end of our journey, that's weird, but no, just the cycle of our first year. Like, it's over. When we did MIQ, it was actually kind of a really nice acclimation time because the move to New Zealand was stressful, and then finding a place after was really hard and tough. But the 2 weeks in MIQ was actually a really nice little respite. It was nice just being stuck in a hotel room, just the three of us. When we first moved here, neither of us had stepped foot in New Zealand, and so it was really crazy being able to come here. Everything was completely new to us. It is strange though because we've never seen New Zealand with its borders open. It kind of feels like getting to know New Zealand in a more intimate way because there's no tourist and everything just feels a lot more calm and a bit slower. So that's really nice, and we've definitely tried to take advantage of that by traveling a bunch and especially seeing the more popular touristy spots. So we have been here for a year now. So here are some life lessons that we have learned. One of the things that we learned is that moving away from all of your family and support is really hard, especially with a child. I would so love to have my mother close by so that I could drop our child off for a few hours. But we don't have anything like that here. When we moved here, we didn't know a single person. And there are good and bad things with this. Like, it is really nice that we rely so much on each other, and it's really nice that I spend 100% of my time with my child. That's something that a lot of people don't get anymore, I feel. But on the flip side of that, I think it does make us sometimes a little bit frustrated because when it is just us two, it's 100% us two. So we never have any off moments, and it's kind of like we're always on. So sometimes it does feel like a lot. Next life lesson is that making friends is hard and it takes time. We spent many a weekend feeling very sorry for ourselves, sitting at home on our couch because we'd walk by all of these like little kid birthday parties and all these people having hangs in their yards, and we were a little bit jealous and wondering why we were such losers, when the reality is that making friends just takes a lot of time. Because you can't force these things, they have to happen naturally, and eventually they do happen, and they're beautiful and they make life so much richer. I always like to kind of equate making friends with dating, because it's like you have to hang out at popular places and you have to ask for their number, and then you have to ask them on a date, and then you have to be really entertaining and exciting, find out if they're a good fit for you, and then if it doesn't work out, your heart gets broken a little bit. But anyway, I found that I was putting a lot of time and energy into certain people, and I realized that they weren't reciprocating back, and that's when I put my foot down and I was like, I'm done chasing people. Like, this needs to be a reciprocal thing. After I made that realization and started changing the way I approached making friends, I have felt so much better about life. The next thing is that money is really hard to figure out when you're moving countries. So the first point here is that when you're actually physically moving countries, you can look at your salary and the general cost of living of the place you're moving to, but it's a completely different story with what your actual cost of living will be like. And there's no way to figure that out until you move to your new place and see how much you spend on groceries, how much you spend on your weekly budget of going out and eating out and all these different things. So for us, we were terrified. We didn't think we could make enough on a single income to comfortably live, which was not true, but we were really scared for a long time. The other part of moving countries, for us at least, because New Zealand is so expensive, we have definitely inflated our lifestyle quite a bit. We want to have all of these experiences, we want to hang out with friends and go out to eat, and also we've just kind of gotten to a point where we want to spend a little bit more money on things. For example, one of the first big purchases we made coming over here is a really nice blender, because it makes such a big difference in our lives, and it might sound silly, but it does make me very happy. Hello. Are you ready to eat? Yeah, okay. Oh, mango. Being in an entirely different country on the other side of the world just naturally leads to perspective shifts. We have learned so much about ourselves, like that we're way more adaptable than we thought, really resilient, we're able to look at the good things in bad situations, that we're really capable, and that we have been eating really bad chocolate our whole lives. We've learned a lot about whole new cultures. Growing up in the US, I feel like I don't know much about the rest of the world, and I didn't even realize that there were different cultures in New Zealand, and so it's been really amazing to come here and embrace this whole new way of life, and my life has definitely been enriched by moving here and learning so much. I have a whole new perspective on history and the way that the whole world works now. It definitely has made me think about a lot of things in a new light, like colonialism and even World War II. Like, that's something that struck me. I had never thought about New Zealand's perspective on World War II before. We've also found ourselves embracing new things a lot more. So there's the bad things that have to happen. Like 4 months in lockdown really sucked. But there's also been really wonderful things, like our 2-week camper van trip down in the South Island. But I've come to realize that it's about being open to new experiences and to new people, and just seeing where life takes you and not getting too upset and persnickety about a certain plan that you've made. Because sometimes when things don't turn out the way that they were supposed to, it actually ends up way better for you in your life. So sometimes something not happening the way that you planned is actually the best thing for you. Moving countries definitely makes you feel like you were living life to the fullest. I have zero regrets about moving here, and it's just a wonderful feeling to have. I think definitely moving out of your hometown is one of the best things that you can do for yourself, even if it's just for a little while. It helps you to get a better sense of the world, and it helps you to learn so much, and you become a different person. Next is that there will always be highs and lows. Like, this should have been obvious to me, but I thought that when we moved to New Zealand, our lives would be so adventurous all the time and wonderful, because that's kind of the way that a lot of people paint New Zealand online, is that it's this perfect place and it's so beautiful, which is true. But of course, life is going to have its mundane moments, it's going to have hard moments, and what we kind of came up with on our Mueller Hut hike is that life is just about one step in front of the other, and then it's really cool because it gets you through the hard things, but it also gets you through the really wonderful moments of life. It's incredible to be able to look back and see all of the amazing things that you've gone through and experienced. So when we were first moving here, we got a ton of messages saying that New Zealand is one of the best places in the world to raise your children. I have to agree with that, but it has been such an incredible thing watching our son grow up here, and I think it's because there's a lot of things that just naturally I match with New Zealand's perspective on. So in the US, I feel like I did a lot of things differently. So being really eco-friendly, plant-based, like all of these different things. In the US, I felt like I was questioned a lot for kind of everything that I chose to do. Whereas here, I feel like a lot of people have the same mindset as me. And so I remember when I first moved here, it kind of felt like I was more home here than I'd ever been back in the States. We have had an amazing year here, and I am so looking forward to all the new adventures we're gonna have and all the new lessons that we're gonna learn. But that is all that I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.